You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show podcast on KPEL965.com.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, broadcasting from the Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Studios.
House Republicans are about to focus on President Biden's state of mind. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
The memory concerns, I think, are evident. The American people see that all the time.
Congressman Jim Jordan will lead the hearing about to start, questioning Robert Hur. He was the special counsel who investigated President Biden's mishandling of classified documents.
He declined to charge President Biden criminally. Now, the Hur report showed pictures of classified documents kept in torn and tattered boxes in his Delaware garage, sensitive documents relating to Afghanistan and his time as vice president, part of the overall pile. Ultimately, though, Hur decided that Biden would be sympathetic to a jury because of his age and overall demeanor. There's also a part of the report, much more controversial, where Hur wrote of the president, quote, he did not remember even within several years when his son Beau died, and his memory appeared hazy when describing the Afghanistan debate that was once so important to him.
Fox's David Spunt and other House hearings about to begin focusing on worldwide threats from China to Russia to Iran. FBI Director Christopher Wray told senators yesterday the risk of potential attacks have grown since the war in Gaza, and
there are a whole host of threats that emanate from the border.
Saying there have been human smugglers with links to ISIS terrorists. There's news out of Israel. Another hostage is dead.
Itay Chen was taken to Gaza by Hamas during the October 7th attack. He hadn't been seen or heard from since. The 19-year-old, a dual U.S.-Israeli citizen, was on active duty with the Israeli military at the time. Israel says Hamas is now holding 134 hostages, of whom 33 are considered dead.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. President Biden just put out a statement saying he's devastated by the news. And then he met with Hen's father and brother at the White House in December, reaffirming his pledge to not stop working to bring the hostages home. We got an inflation update this morning showing consumer prices rose slightly, not just month to month, up 0.4% in February. The annual inflation rate crept back up a tenth to 3.2%. America's listening to Fox News.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T?
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text HIM to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text HIM to 321-321. That's
South Louisiana's biggest St. Patrick's Day celebration is back. Patty in the Park, Saturday, March 16th at Park International, downtown Lafayette, presented by Bud Light. Featuring The Good News, 337, DJ Digital, and the People's Champ, Paul Law.
What it do is Power Wow, I'm the People's Champ.
Tickets available now at Eventbrite.com and all Legends locations. The only official after Patty party happening at downtown Legends Patio. Official Patty in the Park t-shirt by Mike James Entertainment. Wristbands by The Ruins. Designated driver tent by Service Chevrolet.
Since 1971, Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities has reached out to scholars, institutions, and local communities to enrich our shared culture. Want to know more about LEH and the rich culture of Louisiana? Visit leh.org for more information or to donate.
Bikers Against Child Abuse empowers children to not feel afraid of the world in which they live. For more information, visit BACAworld.org. Our helpline is 866-885-9474. BACA, breaking the chains of abuse.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
Hi, y'all. Welcome, Moon Griffon Show. It is Tuesday, terrific Tuesday. Great to be back with you. Back in studio, 844-766-6607. Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management hotline. If you want to be part of the program, you can always email me, moon@moongriffon.com. Great day yesterday. I had a chance to go. We actually got to do the program on the fourth floor, big old press room. The fourth floor is known as the governor's office and the Governor Landry's office. And I had never been in that, to be honest with you. I accidentally went to that floor one time. I didn't get out when Bellboy was governor. And had a great time. Got to see a lot of people, meet a lot of people. It was a cool day. I had a great time. Hooked up with Brian Haldane and Guarantee Broadcasting, 107.3 FM, and we appreciate those guys. And it was just a good day. Talked to a lot of people. Talked to a lot of issues. Got a chance to visit with them. It was all a cool time for me to be over there. Glad to be back home, but it was all good. And by the way, I didn't go to the Capitol for 15 years. The last 2-3 years, I'm sticking my head back around the corner. First time I feel like I can go there, and it feels pretty good. But a lot of work to do. We'll see what happens. I can move from the tell me what you're going to do to show me what you're going to do, and that's where I'm at now with everybody involved in state government. I want to see us make a gigantic, move for the state of Louisiana. So, anyway, it's all good. Now, Landry, I did get to hear Governor Landry's legislative session speech, and it was pretty much what I thought it would. He went over the things we've done bad and the things we need to do good and what we're trying to go to. He had a lot of different calls. Insurance is a big deal. We had a lot of insurance talk yesterday on the program. My feeling is, tell me when, show me how, let's do it so we can afford the insurance in the state of Louisiana. So insurance will be big. Education is gigantic. Got a chance to visit with Dr. Brumley again face-to-face, and that was pretty cool to meet him and listen to his dream and passion for the state of Louisiana. So there's an opportunity to change where we're headed. Everybody will never admit in the state we've been heading the wrong direction. When Edwards came along, we were on steroids in the wrong direction. I mean, absolutely woke in every possible way. And it's nice talking to people in the legislature that it was amazing. It says how much night and day difference it is with a Republican governor. And they'll say it privately. They may not say it publicly, but not having Sheikh Snyder and Blank Page Cortez there. It was just like night and day difference with the attitude. Don't feel like you're getting a baseball bat across your knees with Sheikh Snyder and Blank Page Cortez. Felt like they got people now you can go talk to, you can work with. It's a hell of a working environment right now to change this state. Now, the media doesn't want to change it. The good old boy network doesn't want to change it. People that make a lot of money in the system, they don't want nothing to do with change. They really don't. I'll prove it in a minute. The media's nutting up on Jeff. They're just going crazy. MAGA and conservative principles. What do you run on? So, anyway, a couple of things that I wanted to visit with you was the budget. When Landry gave his budget, it was $3 billion less than it was in last year, largely reflected a reduced federal spending. Okay, basically a flat budget, and we better get right because we can't produce all the revenue we need to produce losing this federal money. We got to get it right. We got to cut back. Every department ought to have cuts. We can't afford this. And we can't afford the government we have anymore. We can't. Because if we ever worried about the business size that creates the tax base, we could. But we are at the mercy of the federal government. We are at the mercy of the federal government printing that money, causing all of our prices to go up, but giving money to the state of Louisiana. We're at the mercy of the federal government in the state of Louisiana, whether you want to believe that or not. I'm telling you, we are. And the federal government's broke and gone broker because, and I'll get to this later because a lot of people are pounding me about John Kennedy voting for Ukraine and John Kennedy voting for the budget to make sure we don't have shutdowns. And John and Cassidy and Garrett Graves and all these people are jumping up and down about more money they send into Louisiana. and I'll give you their quotes in a minute, which I had John on Kennedy. Senator Kennedy was on. Everybody knows a great relationship with Kennedy. And Kennedy's sitting there, and I asked him the big question, when are y'all going to quit spending all this money? And John made it sound like it was everybody but him, and yet he voted for $480 billion more, $500 billion of spending money to keep the government open. Maybe the government ought to close. But it's catastrophic. Well, it's going to be catastrophic when everybody else closes and you can't pay your bills and you got to get in line with food. But nobody believes when I say that. So Kennedy keeps voting for bills. I expect Bill Cassidy to vote for these bills. I expect Garrett Graves to run around and brag how much money he's bringing to us. I expect that. But, man, you pass a budget, you pass a bill so you don't have a government shutdown, only to have to pass another one next time and the one after that because we won't have a budget. And these Republicans don't want to get blamed for it. It's not your fault. They can blame you all they want to and vote you out of office, and then we got even a bigger disaster. So $3 billion less, we headed in the right direction. If you're going to cut taxes, you have to cut spending. And, boy, we need tax cuts here. We need to pay a lot less. One of the other big things that came out of Jeff's speech yesterday that I've been hearing about and we talked about yesterday a lot was the Constitutional Convention. Folks, I've always been against this. I've always been against it. I'm not saying I'm against it, but I've always been against it because I want to know who the delegates are going to be. I want to know more about this. And, is this something we can do in a 3 or 4 week period to deal with the whole Constitution? Because, see, here's the good news. They go ahead and have a Constitutional Convention. That's fine. You and me get to determine if it passes. You and me. We get to determine if this is what we want. We get to see what's in it before we pass it. This ain't Nancy Pelosi, okay? This is not, well, we'll see what's, we got to pass it to see what's in it. With a Constitutional Convention, we get to see what's in it. You people that are stuck on a homestead exemption, something that can be gone by the wayside. Texas brought theirs from $25,000 to $100,000 to give their people a tax break on property taxes because their state's doing so well economically, they can afford for their people to keep their property tax money. We can't here. We're talking about raising it. We're talking about lowering it from 75 to 25. Why? Because we don't get the business part right. And we got to get the business part right. The Constitutional Convention will make me, of all people, very nervous because I just don't know everything they're going to deal with. They got some other ideas. One of them is that they allow lawmakers to amend the Constitution with a 2/3 vote without having to take the additional steps of a public vote. It's something to look at. Somebody said, well, we'll never get none passed. Well, okay. They said we'll never get taxes passed when they needed a 2/3 vote. But Bill Edwards ran $7 billion up our nose and down our throat when he was governor. And with the help of Republicans, of course. So here we are, regular session. Maybe a shortened regular session so they can go deal with the Constitutional Convention. Folks, and I wish CB was living. I know Woody Jenkins talked yesterday. He was a part of it. He was definitely against this one that's coming. It's too fast. I just want to, if they have one, they can have one. That's fine. But what are they going to do? What is the main reason for having it? Will that be lined out to exactly what we need to do? Everybody says, oh, they just want to deal with where we don't have all this budget money dedicated. And if we can do this and we can undedicate some of that money, that'll free us up. Sounds great in principle. I get it. But is that really what the Constitutional Convention is about? And I think those things are going to be brought up. We're going to get to see how the legislature votes, how Governor Landry leads on this. I understand what they're trying to do somewhat, and I understand that they want to do it while they think they got the right people in the governor's mansion. And the legislature has 2/3 votes, Republicans. on both sides of the house. I get it. But, man, you can't jump in this and not have your ducks in a row. You can't. I'm going to tell you, if they come out with a constitutional convention and they send us something, they better have their ducks in a row. I'm not going to sit here and watch a constitutional convention and then they send us something that's not acceptable. They're going to have to send something that's very acceptable. That's my hope. If they're going to do one, I want them to send something that's very, very acceptable. This is going to be a war. You got a group of people that don't want to change anything. You got a group of people that think the Constitution's holding us back. I'm not there at all. I think what holds us back is overspending, over-reliance on the federal government, a good old boy network from hell that keep making themselves and their family members rich and leaving everybody else out. That is something the Constitution cannot fix if we don't do it right. Let me take a break. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. It is a Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. You got any comments or questions on this? By the way, the media nutting up on Jeff. Y'all don't believe what Greg Hilburn and the Twit and the rest of them are talking about. It's almost hilarious. We'll be right back. Hey, folks, my good friends at Stein saying, hey, come check us out. They are ready to serve you, folks. It doesn't matter. Appliances, building material, home improvements. Pick up your orders at curbside, place the order, and come pick it up. We're talking about Stein, one of those great, great, great Louisiana companies, folks. Assorted flowers and vegetables on sale. They've got outdoor power equipment sale going on right now. Outdoor living sale going on right now. You need to check it out, folks. Steinhome.com. Steinhome.com. You know it's crawfish season. You want to do your ball of crawfish. No, they don't have crawfish. They got everything to cook it. Everybody outside grilling, they got grills you're not going to believe. Grills and deals at Stein, always. Free assemblies on grills, $299 or more. It's just deals. Special financing available for 12 months. Appliances, flooring, they got it all. You need to go to Stein. You need to go today. Steinhome.com, Steinhome.com. Better brands, lower prices, guaranteed. The Louisiana company, Stein, you got to trust them. They're waiting on you. When you think about how you'll spend your money in retirement, what comes to mind? Probably travel, sunny beaches, and spoiling your grandchildren. But a recent survey found that over 30% of every dollar a retiree spends goes to taxes. Baby boomers were told for years to save money in their IRAs and 401ks and pay taxes later. Well, now that day has arrived, and boomers are shocked to see a third of their money going back to Uncle Sam. John Blanchard and the Matthew James Financial Group can help. What if you could protect all or most of your retirement wealth from future tax rate increases? Achieve a zero or near zero effective tax rate for most of your retirement years. Find out more. 337-366-8366. Isn't it time you got a second opinion on your wealth and retirement outlook? Learn how you could potentially kick the IRS out of your IRA. 337-366-8366 and online at MatthewJames.com. Hello, welcome back, Moon Griffon Show. Got caught up in the back. Welcome. Told me I had a minute. Okay. Well, they stopped me for something good. All right, anyway, welcome back, Moon Griffon, 844-766-6607. Matthew James, Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Paul Hurd joins me. Paul is a constitutionalist. And Paul, all right, Paul, I don't know if you've been watching. There's a big push to do a constitutional convention. And I've been one of the ones against it almost every time. Actually, every time. And I had Woody Jenkins on yesterday. And Woody wasn't working in a capacity. He was just talking about it. He was 100% against it. Didn't like the idea that the legislature would be the delegates and other reasons. But just your thoughts on one.
Well, I think I don't. If the sun came up in the east, I don't trust the legislature, and I think the problem with the Constitutional Convention is the way it's been proposed. It's not a convention. It's a super legislature, and I think it's unconstitutional. If you check Article 13 of the Louisiana Constitution, Section 1 is how to do amendments by the legislature. Section 2 is how to do amendments to the Constitution by a constitutional convention. The delegates to a convention have to be newly elected, I believe. And I think the idea of saying we're going to convene the legislature just automatically and call them a convention is, I believe, violates the two-prong method for doing the amendments. But let me mention something else. One of the reasons they say they need one, and this may be true, is the amendments they want to do have to do with the power to tax and how to allocate the tax revenue at the state level and the local level. And we do have a provision in our Constitution that says you can only do one thing at a time. And so it makes it maybe constitutionally impossible for you to say, we're going to lower our income tax, or repeal income tax and increase sales tax. You can't hook them to one another because they're in two different spots in the Constitution. Easy concept. Go amend that provision. Because what the tree they want to hide behind is we need tax reform in Louisiana. We probably do. But they say, oh, golly gee, I can't do it unless I do a constitutional convention. That's wrong. All we have to do is do one amendment to our Constitution that says you can connect multiple amendments to a single vote. If they do that, then we're back to what you and I want, I think, or at least what I want, and that is I get to see what they're up to real early. And it gets to be debated, it gets to be investigated. So they don't need it for tax reform. They need to eliminate the restriction on multi-issue. We need to remember, the reason we have dedicated taxes is because we don't trust government. They already tax us too much. And they're going to remove that limitation of a two-thirds vote on taxation. Also, we have a Bill of Rights.
Now, hold on, Paul. You know, I wanted to stop you a second. One of the things, and this is what Woody was saying yesterday, he's worried about homestead exemption. You know, in Texas, they went up to 100,000, from 25 to 100, gave everybody a gigantic property break. They want to take it from 175 to 25 here, or eliminate it totally. And I don't know if it should or it shouldn't be. I'm just telling you what he was saying yesterday. It just, I've always had problems with one. And the part of you got a conservative governor, we're supposed to have a conservative legislature. So I said, well, we just let them be the delegates. Well, we just voted for them. People voted for them and said, I trust you. Is that legit? Or are you saying they cannot do that no matter what?
Well, I'm saying I don't believe that's a convention. And more importantly, what I'm going to say is this. A lot of the dirty, ugly politics, the things that the people don't want and inside government does, gets done the first year. And what I'm telling you is right now is when our legislators are the least responsive to their people. Because it's 3 years before we get another shot at them. And so my point is, if anyone out there who doesn't want a convention needs to get their lawsuit ready to say, unless we have elected delegates to a constitutional convention, it's not a constitutional convention. Under the Constitution sufficient to give it the power to amend the Constitution. Mm-hmm. We have to think of what constitutional convention have you ever seen that didn't have the delegates elected?
That's true.
And they may be elected. So, look, that's my point. But more importantly, if they'll eliminate this issue restrictions,
Paul, hold on.
they can do it.
Hold on. Let me take a break. I'll bring you back. Paul Hurd, who's an attorney, constitutional attorney, talking about a constitutional convention. Paul says he can't do it the way they're talking about doing it. It's not constitutional. We'll take a break. Be right back. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. Hey, folks, this is Moon Griffon. I built my dream home. Start imagining your dream home. And when you do, make sure you call my friends or get in touch with my friends at Schumacher Homes. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. When you tour Schumacher model home, you're in control. Stop by during operating hours and tour at your own pace. There's a reason my friends at Schumacher have been building homes for over 30 years. They're committed to making the home building process as enjoyable, simple, and hassle-free as possible. Call them or visit them, SchumacherHomes.com. SchumacherHomes.com to schedule your free, no-obligation design and pricing meeting. Hey, it's an hour or two of your time working on your dream home. And my friends over at Schumacher Homes just announced some exciting news. You can get a mortgage rate as low as 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Homes. That is 2.875% when you finance with Schumacher Mortgage. Hey, the whole Schumacher team is dedicated to making sure your dream home becomes a reality. SchumacherHomes.com, SchumacherHomes.com. Folks, remember the name All Field Equipment, allfieldequipment.com. When I say All Field, that's ALL Field.com. All Field Equipment, founded in 2016 by my good friend, Mr. Bill Allen, with over 50 years' experience in the oil and gas industry. Hey, this is a great company to do business with, whether it's production equipment, control valves, controller, glyco pumps, chemical pumps, chokes, Wilden pumps, Barton recorders. Allfield has new rebuilt and parts. Allfield handles some of the industry's top brands such as Norasil, Fisher, and Kimray. On the supply side, Allfield has anything from Q-tips to appliances to general Allfield supplies. Allfield is one of the largest suppliers of bottled water in the Gulf. And remember, Allfield never changes transportation. Like the name says, Allfield has it all, covering the Architects area and the Gulf of Mexico. Allfield Equipment, 337-837-1003, 337-837-1003.
Support local supply.
This hour of the Moon Griffon Show is brought to you by 1% Lists Acadiana. Call Shannon LeBlanc today at 337-522-0682. Save on fees, not on service.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Appreciate you joining us. 844-766-6607 is the number. It's Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Paul Hurd, who's dealt with redistricting and constitutional law his whole life, visits with us a little bit about the Constitutional Convention that the Governor Landry and the legislature look like they're going to call. Paul, let me ask you a question. Would it be more constitutional if you have delegates, but the legislature is part of it as well? Or that is not the way they can design this thing? Because I did hear that we're going to have the delegates will be the elected officials, but we're going to add some other people. And I thought, well, maybe is that a slick way to go? Hey, we got the legislature, but then you throw in a few people that have to run for it or whatever, then you can get around that rule. Is that maybe why I'm hearing that?
No, I think the answer is you got to elect them.
Everybody.
Point is they have no status. We don't have aristocracy in this state. If you're going to be a delegate to the convention, you need to be elected. What districts they use, they could use the state house districts or the Senate districts or both. Yeah. And the legislators could run to go to the Constitutional Convention. But the idea that we're going to create appointed voters at a convention to draw up the Constitution for the people is forgetting. They're leaving the people out. And if they don't trust the people, we don't need to do this.
But if all of them run, most all of them are going to win.
Well, so most of them are going to win, but I got news for you. There's people out there that the public trusts on a constitutional level more than they trust these legislators.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't mean that they won't participate if they're elected, if their people want them to. But what it does mean is they're going to have to do what you're talking about, and that is they're going to have to tell me what it is that they want to do at that convention. And the answer is this whole process is a process set up to tell no one publicly what they want to do, as if we're scared to talk about good improvement. We're not. Let's get it on the table.
And that was why.
That's what's exciting about this.
That's why I'm not saying that we ain't got to have one. I'm just saying what's the agenda and who are the delegates. I think are important. Paul, the other situation is I know there's some things in the Constitution that we probably want changed. Some things we don't. But you remember, whatever happens in that Constitution, quote, Constitutional Convention, it still got to come back to the voters. They still have to come back to you and me and everybody else and say, and sell it. They can't just, I don't think I'm going to be fooled by everything that's in it.
Well, no, but the problem is when it comes back with a single vote. They can do away with the right to carry and bear arms, but they can improve our tax code. They can limit government. And we got to say yes to all of it, not pieces of it.
Well, that was my next question. Can they? Once you open up the Constitution, I've read both sides of this. They cannot piecemeal it. We're going to only deal with this. When you open up a Constitutional Convention, it's the Constitution. It's not bits and pieces. What is the truth on that?
No, they could propose. It says that a convention can propose amendments or a new constitution. It doesn't have to be a whole new constitution, but the amendments themselves, we can have 6 amendments proposed, and you get one vote, yay or nay, for these 6 amendments.
Okay.
My point is, light and public debate will help us improve this state. We're going to do it with this group. We're going to do it behind the curtains. We're going to do it and come out and feed you at the end and have all the debate behind closed doors, not in a public hearing, is just, to me, no way to promise us a good solution.
Okay. So right now...
I believe people talking about stuff gets us good stuff.
Well, let me ask you a question. Right now, there's really not a whole lot to know about it. Okay? I've been against him for all the stuff you talked about. I've challenged it every time it's come up. We talked about it. But my question to you is, what you know about it right now, I've taken it, and I talked to Woody, you don't like it. You don't like what you're hearing. How about that?
I don't like the process, and I'm hoping that what I wish they would do is pass the change to our Constitution today that says you can pair up amendments. Now, once we pass that, now they can do in public, in the legislature, in committee, on the floor, they can pair changing income tax, changing sales tax. They can change the Department of Wildlife and Fishery. We can do all that publicly. Okay. That's what I fear from the convention. Is just like Edwin Edwards and his group did. Everything was decided at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. It wasn't decided at the Capitol.
Yeah. Well, my big fear when you start talking about delegates is people like John Alario and them get in there and they let them run the whole show. That's the Jay Dawes, the John Alarios, people that hurt us, and nobody realized how bad these people were. And they were great for themselves and their family, but they were bad for the state. My fear is they get in there. They're the ones that get in charge. That's what bothers me.
And I don't even – I'll differ only slightly. I don't mind if Alario's there as long as everything he has to say is public.
No, that's not what they do. They will – the Alarios, the Dawes will all be exactly what you said earlier. it's going to be done at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Look, that's all they've ever done. Why do you, Paul, think it would be anything different if you got another Larry? Yeah, he can run and win, but I guarantee if he runs and wins, that dude will be in charge of everything. They'll get out of the way and let him have it.
Oh, if they're going to surrender, then we don't need the convention to start with. If we don't, I've got faith that we've got new blood, and we would get more new blood if there's an election for the delegates. And with that, it's not that those people aren't influential, but what will happen is there'll be enough people around that it can't be done behind closed doors. The issues, the topics, the proposed changes can be discussed in the press, can be discussed at press conferences, can be exposed to the will of the people. And that's why we need independent minds at a constitutional convention. You're going to get the insiders. There's nothing we can do about that. We need enough independent businessmen in the deal to help expose the worst ideas.
Yeah, no, I just, like I said, I'm trying not to get in the way, but I also don't want to see us go down a path and doesn't get done what we need to get done. And I hope I'm wrong by saying that.
I think the existence of public light and public discussion is not an enemy of progress. It's the reason we're making progress in Louisiana today. We need more light and discussion, and what we do need to do to make our business environment better, we need to talk about it. We need to stand up and say, this is exactly what we need to do. This is why when they talk about phasing out the income tax over 10 years, that's great, but except it'll do us no good in 10 years. The people winning today in the economic race in America, in the Southeast, are those that said, we're going to do away with this economic cancer of an income tax, and we're going to live healthy without it. It's not that we got to figure out how to tolerate cancer, economic cancer. We're trying to say we're going to get rid of it, and we're going to live healthy, and we're going to prosper. Those are the kind of issues that if we get it out public, the people will express their will.
Yeah. All right, Paul, I appreciate it. We'll keep an eye on it. That's all we can do.
Man, we gotta have hope. You know, that's the public discussion, and good people can get us there.
Well, you know, we're gonna be discussing it here. Pro, con, good or bad. I'm not, like I said, I'm normally against it. I'm not against it as much. I'm very leery, and like I said, I know some of the people, including the governor, that I trust, but I'm still real leery. We start talking about the Constitution.
So we got to trust somebody, but we also have to set up a system that will expose the underbelly.
Yep.
And that's what I think that's my concern, is that I don't think a dark convention where they go behind closed doors and they make a deal and they walk out with the cake, the constitutional
Paul, I gotta go.
cake baked.
I got to go. Thank you, man.
See you, man. Bye.
All right, take a break. Be right back. From the humbling beginning, Dino Hardwoods is striving to provide superior service and quality products for their customers. Hey, I know Charles Altman. He does a great job. If you're looking for lumber, Dino Hardwood stocks a large selection of domestic and import hardwood lumber and cypress. You ought to see their stuff. Exotic lumber, they got that as well. Trust in Dino Hardwoods when it comes to your exotic lumber needs right now. Molding, plywood, paint, and L products, they are ready for you. They got 3 great locations. The corporate office is right here in Broussard, Louisiana. There's an office in Shreveport on 2801 Valley View Drive, and one in Tyler, Texas, 12492 Highway 155 North. Hey, if you're looking for something different and something new and somebody who will service you, it's Dino Hardwoods. I'm telling you, don't forget Dino Hardwoods. DinoHardwoods.com, DinoHardwoods.com. Great locations. They can service you. They can deliver. DinoHardwoods.com. Check out this great Louisiana company. Folks, you hear me brag about an advertisement. South Star Urgent Care is the name you need to know. Listen, you look up in the middle of the night, you're looking, God, where do we go? South Star Urgent Care. They open on weekends. They open at night. They can get you taken care of. If you're sick, if you're feeling bad, maybe you coughing, dehydrated, fever, flu, fracture, South Star Urgent Care wants to service you, and they're going to treat you like you want to be treated. They're going to get you in, get you out. You're not going to sit in a dark waiting room for a bunch of times. South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. You know you can register before you go and set your appointment. Hey, it's really cool. These folks at South Star greet you with a genuine smile and make you feel very comfortable. Folks, you're looking for the perfect urgent care? It's South Star Urgent Care. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com. South Star Urgent Care. It's the urgent care you need. Go to SouthStarMoon.com, SouthStarMoon.com.
Need guidance?
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show as we rock and roll. Constitutional Convention. They talking about it. Anyway, 844-766-6607 is the number. It's Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management Hotline. Look, I've been against them all the time because I just don't know what we're dealing with. I still don't know what I'm dealing with. I want to trust the governor and the legislature in this one. I do. I really want to trust them to be able to do this. The good news about the whole thing is if it passes, if it comes out of some type of convention form and it passes, and then you and me get to vote on it, up or down. And I feel certain by the time it comes out, we're going to know if it's good or bad. I don't feel certain that we could beat it if it's bad. That's my dilemma here. Example. Now, let me back up. First of all, if they get a constitutional convention, if they get it passed out of there, it's going to come up on the presidential election in November. The largest voting block of people will come out during this presidential election. We will have unbelievable amount of people come and vote. The people that are right, will be trying to wipe the Democrats off the map because they're about to wipe us off. And when you get into this constitutional convention, there'll be a lot of money spent, pros and cons. And I look at constitutional amendments and how many times they pass, and people don't even know what they vote for. I'm as guilty as y'all. You don't want to read them. You don't want to pay attention. You don't want to know if yes means no and no means yeah. I get all that. And that's what makes me nervous. Because if it's passed, and let me there's a process, okay, for this thing to come out of the House and Senate. Okay, and the process is a long process. So I got to see what comes out. I got to watch the process just like everybody else. But this thing could dominate the whole session now. This could be what we talk about at the end of the session. Now, it may come out. I might be the happiest dude you ever seen in your life once it comes out. I may be the number one fan of it. But what worries me is to pass one that I'm not happy with. And I'm not talking about me. I don't mean it that way. That we don't like, but we don't have the votes to stop it. Kind of like Bill Edwards. We had all these Republicans voting with Bill. And we didn't have nowhere to stop them because they didn't understand what the hell they were doing. We got 8 years of a governor who backed in twice who should have never been a governor. So when I say me, I don't mean me as in me. I mean me as in us. We. I should say we the people. We've been fooled before. 8 years of hell from Bill Edwards, and this thing is not going good for us. And there are definitely some things they need to clean up. There's no doubt about it. I'm not even going to argue that. You know, I'll have Dan Yershpalm on here with the Pelican Institute. I'll have Jeff Landry on here. I'll have business community on here. I want to hear from everybody in this. I want to hear from the people who think it's a bad idea. But we don't know what the Constitutional Convention is going to look like because we hadn't seen anybody propose anything yet. I will say this, if they vote for a constitutional convention and we don't know who the delegates are and all that stuff, it's going to be hard for me to support it. Right now, I'm going to stay out of the way and let's just see what happens. I don't, I mean, this is important stuff, folks. This will make or break us. I'm just not going to let, maybe it comes out the other way. It's such a good, they have such a good constitutional convention. Okay? They have such a good constitutional convention. They pass everything we want passed. They put it on the ballot only to watch the good old boy network beat it down. So see, it can work both ways. We're going to have to be very, very honest with the Louisiana people, what we need if we do this. And we have to be very honest with the American Louisiana people, what it really does. So I can see it go either way. Like I said, I've never been for them. It's not that I'm for this one. I just don't know if I ought to talk it down or talk it up or just let it run its course. Right now, I'm just letting it run its course because we don't know. We don't have enough information yet from the people who are going to push this, including the governor, on why this is so important. Now, he did lay out somewhat yesterday, and because I listened to the whole speech, he did lay out somewhat yesterday. People are tired of voting for constitutional amendments. We are. Nobody reads them. It's safe to say 95, 97% of people don't read them. You're told what to think. Look, I know. I get emails all the time during the elections. How you vote on amendments? Yes on the first 2, 4, no on the best 4. I get a lot of votes because people don't want to take the time to read them. So you can definitely, but I don't know how you eliminate that because they're going to have to put something in the Constitution that says we can't bring up constitutional amendments. I think somebody said one state had every 10 years they can bring up a constitutional amendment. And Louisiana, it's every year. Seems to be every year. Maybe you can only bring them up every couple of years. Because I'm going to tell you, if you can bring up a constitutional amendment and the Constitutional Convention gets passed, okay, to go to the Constitutional Convention and give us a new Constitution, and they don't stop the number of amendments that are coming on, trust me, when the ink is dried on the new Constitution, the next legislature will have 10 to 500 constitutional amendments to put on the Constitution to change it. That would be embarrassing for the state of Louisiana to have a new Constitution, and here comes the constitutional amendments again that we talked about from the governor's side and from the legislature side. We talked about not having those anymore, at least for a period of time. They got to do something about it. I'm telling y'all, people, I don't ever vote for a constitutional amendment if I don't know what it does. So I probably voted against some good ones too. But I want to understand it before I vote for them. I mean, that's it. It's just that simple. And we got to see how this thing breaks down. But it will probably be a big part of this session. They're not going to deal with tax reform until next year. They're just not. That's not coming. Insurance, education, things like that are going to be things they have to deal with now. They're just not going to be able to deal with it. Next year they can deal with it. So that's what we're dealing with in the session. Jeff laid it out. You can go read his speech. When we get back, the media is nutting up that Jeff Landry and this legislature are conservative. I'm not making it up. I mean, I got 2 great pieces right here showing how crazy the Advocate, Greg Hilvin, the Devil's Advocate, these people are. So obsessed with being to the left. They worried that Landry and the Republicans are going to do conservative priorities. They really are. I'll let you know about that when we get back. You're listening to The Moon Griffon Show. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.one and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.one and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.one. Hello, KD2 News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Breaux Bridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
He's under oath. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. Robert Hur, the special counsel who investigated President Biden.
We identified evidence that the president willfully retained classified materials after the end of his vice presidency when he was a private citizen.
But Hur just told a House Judiciary Committee hearing he did not recommend charges, in part because
I had to consider the president's memory and overall mental state and how a jury likely would perceive his memory and mental state in a criminal trial.
Republicans have seized on that.
Forgetting on the first day of the interview when his term ended, and forgetting on the second day of the interview when his term as vice president began.
And Congressman Jim Jordan cites this in the Hur report.
Joe Biden said he took his notebooks with him after his vice presidency because, quote, they're mine.
Now, the White House has put out a series of rebuttals it calls fact-checked, saying Hur's report stated several times the president did not willfully retain documents. And Democratic Congressman Jerry Nadler shifted the focus at one point in the hearing to former President Trump, who was charged criminally over his handling of classified documents.
A man who is wholly unfit for office, and a man who, at the very least, ought to think twice before accusing others of cognitive decline.
Israel's confirmed that a soldier kidnapped by Hamas in the October terror attack that triggered the war in Gaza has died. Itay Ken was an American citizen also, and he's among 33 dead hostages Hamas is still holding, along with 101 others who are alive. Inflation has crept back up, rising 0.4% last month from January, and
on an annual basis, the Consumer Price Index rose 3.2%, stronger than forecast and up from January. Inflation measured by the CPI peaked at 9.1% in June of 2022.
Fox's Jenny Casola. That report is inflating stocks. The Dow's surging up 231 points. The Nasdaq's up almost 200. America's listening to Fox News.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high-quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old-world craftsmanship combined with cutting-edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year. And every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com, order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms.
Court-appointed special advocates, or CASA, are specially trained volunteers that help secure safe homes for abused and neglected children. Don't let these innocent victims slip through the cracks of our complicated legal system. Get involved today. Call CASA at 268-5111. This nonprofit organization moment brought to you by News Talk 96.5 KPEL.
South Louisiana's biggest St. Patrick's Day celebration is back. Patty in the Park, Saturday, March 16th at Park International, downtown Lafayette, presented by Bud Light, featuring The Good News, 337, DJ Digital, and the People's Champ, Paul Law.
What it do is Power Wow, I'm the People's Champ.
Tickets available now at eventbrite.com and all Legends locations. The only official after Patty party happening at downtown Legends Patio. Official Patty in the Park t-shirt by Mike James Entertainment. Wristbands by The Ruins. Designated driver tent by Service Chevrolet.
The views expressed in the following show are those of the hosts or hosts only. They do not represent News Talk 96.5 KPEL or Town Square Media.
welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. What a great day. Great day to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number. If you got a question, a comment, Constitutional Convention, or something else that we've talked about. Governor Landry's speech. I kept calling him Jeff, but he's been Jeff to me for a long time. Still got a lot of stuff to come. But I got to tell you, it gets kind of comical for me to watch the media. And I knew they would do this, and I told y'all they would do this. And so here we go. Everybody knows that Jeff Landry's a Trump guy. Trump endorsed Landry, and everybody knows that Jeff's real conservative, and everybody knows that the legislature is Republican. I think real conservative. We'll see about that. So what does the media have to do? I mean, their boy, Mr. Wokeism, John Bell, Bell boy's gone. The guy that wanted to little boys to get the thing cut off. The guy that wanted girls and boys to be able to play on the same sports team. You know, the guy that believed we should lock down phase 1, 2, 3, 4. The guy that put a pastor in jail, Tony Spell, who not only won court case, he wanted the Supreme Court that Bell was wrong. Doesn't happen to Bell. You know, they never did pound Bell Edwards on one thing. They didn't care if a state trooper, a black guy got killed by a state trooper. That wasn't no big deal to them. They didn't care that our migration is soaring out of here. Education system has not changed under him. We're more indebted. The taxes he ran out, we're more indebted to the federal government. Okay, we hadn't changed anything. Education hadn't changed. We hadn't fixed roads. We hadn't stopped our migration. He hadn't made insurance rates go down one. He did nothing to benefit Louisiana except he helped the good old boy network stay in the same direction, stay in the same trajectory as we always been, and that's what the media wants. They want it nationally and they want it in the state. Now, if you don't think I'm wrong, let me give you a couple of headlines. First one, Greg Hilburn. Oh, highball. Greg Highball Hilburn. He got to be drinking a lot of highball. Nobody thinks like this cat. So, old Highball Hilburn for the Gannett newspaper, this is the headline. MAGA Louisiana, Governor Landry, GOP lawmakers face little resistance to conservative agenda. What, is he supposed to have a woke leftist agenda like Bell Edwards? Are they upset because we're not going to be woke enough? This is the Gannett newspaper. Oh, Highball Hillman, great. He got to be drinking a lot of highball. There's no way for somebody to think like this cat thinks. He can't look at the out-migration figures. He can't look at the insurance costs. He can't look at anything going on in the state. They're worried about being conservative because they don't want to change the state of Louisiana. That's why they love Bell Boy. That's why they love Jay Darden. They've done nothing to make this state better. Nothing. Here's another headline. This is the Devil's Advocate. This is by the twit Tyler Bridges, James Fake News Finn, Megan Friedman, Sam Collin, and Patrick Wall. Let's see what their headline says. In jam-packed regular session, Jeff Landry, lawmakers will enact conservative priorities. Really? Did they run that they were going to be leftist Looney Tunes, that we're going to keep the good old boy network, keep us last in every dang thing? What did they expect? Oh, my God, they all upset. We're going to be conservative. We had Bell Boy. Bell Edwards walked in because of crazy Republicans. He never won an election. He backed in two of them because of Republicans. They didn't care about that. They want a leftist. And they don't mind a leftist Republican. They have no problem with a leftist Republican. Why you don't see them challenge the ones I challenge? They're not going to. So we got one saying the MAGA agenda and conservative agenda, and the next one conservative priority. If people run on this and the Louisiana citizens voted for every statewide holder as a Republican, everyone, governor, attorney general, secretary of state, treasurer, I know I'm missing something. Every one of them. Every single one of them. An agriculture commission, an insurance commission, all Republicans. And the media is killing them, folks. It's absolutely destroying them. deep and within. They don't have any peace in life now because they don't have Bell Boy to brag about. And Bell Edwards hurt this state. Mark my word, we hurt us bad. And then you got 2/3 in the House and 2/3 in the Senate are Republican representatives and senators. And they all ran on a conservative platform. All of them are not conservative. Understand, I know that. But they all ran on a conservative platform. And the media, and especially the print media with Hot Toddy Hilburn, Highball Hilburn, Greg Hilburn, and the twit and the devil's advocate, man, it's eating the lunch up, folks. And they're going to brag on, Edwards got us ballot budget. How'd he do it? Federal money. And $7 billion in new taxes. $7 billion. And he didn't want to let go. You look at the 1 penny and the 0.45, the 1 penny was for about 27 months, I think. And the 0.45 is for 7 years. Just that's almost $6 billion or better. And man, so people elected conservatives. By the way, Greg Hilburn, Highball, MAGA Louisiana, Make America Great Again, associating him with Donald Trump. I tell you what, I'll take a bet right now that if the election was held today, and it ain't, and even in November, if Trump's on the ticket, no matter what the Democrat is, how much y'all want to bet Trump's going to be pushing 60%? The people are telling the dumb, stupid devil's advocate and Greg Hilburn and the Gannett, y'all aren't welcome here. Y'all not even with us. They're un-American. They're un-Louisiana. They're enemies of the state. Call them what they are. And Donald Trump's going to win big in Louisiana. Gigantic in Louisiana. It's not even going to be close. Whether this president that we have now is on the ballot or another Democrat, it's the same people. Bell Edwards could go run for president. It'd be like voting for Joe Biden if you vote for a Democrat. And this Hilburn and the Twit and Finn and all these people, they don't get it, folks. That's the people that voted in the states that we want to be conservative. A lot of them want to be Christian. But they can't stand it. They can't stand it. Let me give you an example. Greg Highball Hilburn. He's in the legislature, Jeff Landry poised to press conservative MAGA-style agenda that could dramatically reshape the policies on everything from education to justice system to insurance to culture as they begin the regular session. We need to change everything, Greg. I'm telling y'all, I hope Hilburn don't ever leave the state. I will not be the dumbest one in the state. As long as Hilburn is in the state, as long as Highball, I am not the dumbest person. Thank you, Greg. You keep me one notch above. What do you think they're going to do? They want to change and reshape the policy. Education will last. Justice system, we got the crime capital of the world, murder capital of the world. Insurance, the highest insurance in the state. And Greg and Devil's Advocate, they don't want to change that, folks. I told you there were people in this state that do not want to change the trajectory of this state being great. And part of it is the media. The other part is the good old boy network. I mean, Hilburn is upset that Landry and them want to dramatically reshape policy. That's what people voted for, Greg. How stupid can you get? Greg, if you want to see stupidity, Greg, look in your mirror. Just go look in the mirror and look at your mirror and go, damn, I didn't know I was that stupid. This makes no sense at all for him to write like we voted for change. We should have did this 8 years ago when Bell backed in. Vitter would have did a lot of this stuff. I can't vote for him. He's a hypocrite. And Bell Edwards is not a hypocrite? As my friend, the late C.B. Ferguson used to say, who's been gone 8 years now. If you vote for elected official, you probably vote for a hypocrite. Hillman thinks Landry and them should come in and call Bell Edwards and say, Bell, what do we need to do? What taxes do we raise? How much more federal money do we need to go get? It's like they upset that they might reshape education. Well, folks, I don't know about y'all. We don't reshape education. We have no chance. dramatically reshape policy and education, justice system. My God, how bad does crime have to get? It got horrendous under Bill Edwards. They thought it was okay. This is what we got in the media, folks. This is what happens when you got media that Trump nailed him enemy to the state. This is who these people are, too. So what does Hillman do? Let Hillman be our state salesman and go sell education. Well, we 50th, but we're trying. Well, how y'all doing in jobs? Well, we got more people leaving here than anywhere, but we're doing great. Well, what would he sell? We don't change. We can't sell a state to the young people. Businesses coming in, insurance companies coming in. They got 70-something bills dealing with insurance change. And Hillman and these people don't, the Twit and Fake News Finn, none of these people don't care about this state, folks. Don't read what they say and believe them because they are liars. They're not going to tell you the truth. They want everything to stay the same. It's a shame. Anyway, we got to take a break. Well, I'm just starting. I'm just telling you what they're writing about, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking they can't be this serious. Anyway, I mean, I'm telling Greg, please don't leave the state. How about don't leave? I don't want to be the dumbest one. Please stay. We'll be right back. Line One is a business telecom provider. Line One specializes in cloud-based communication with superior customer service. If you're frustrated with phone bills you can't understand, endless hold time to customer support, and phone system that is not meeting your needs, then you need to go to Line.1 and schedule a free consultation to advance your business phone system. Line One, technology with a human touch. Go to Line.1 and tell them Moon sent you. Again, that is Line.1. Oh, Shucks, you've been hearing me brag about Shucks. Been going there for many, many years. Shucks does a great job. If you like seafood, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. I'm telling you right now, there's shrimp, there's oysters, there's fish, all fresh every day right off the boat. So if you want something fresh and you want fresh seafood, you got to go to Shucks. Don't forget, if you're having a party, call Shucks. Let them cater the event for you, or you can go pick it up. Shucks, they're waiting on you. If you want a great time and you want great food, you got to go to Shucks in Abbeville. Shucks. Oh, they're good. Folks, I want to tell you about one of my new advertisers, Adapt Concepts AC Service Repairs. Oh, serving all of Acadiana, surrounding areas, and the Gulf of Mexico for over 6 years. Full-service AC and heating company, repairs, installation, and preventive maintenance, which is very, very important. Installation service, professional quality services, focus on creating value for you. Terms of certified technician, 24/7 customer service, and free consultation. I'm talking Adapt Concepts, AC Service Repairs. You want the professionals, you want the best, this is them. Purchase a qualified high-efficient system for maintenance, plus get a free 12-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, don't you want to know about that? Call them at 337-408-8202. That's 337-408-8202. Or go to the website, adapt-ac.com. That's adapt-ac.com.
Everywhere you blast.
Hello, welcome back. It is always great to be with you. 844-766-6607, Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. You see, the media doesn't understand. I couldn't explain it to them if I tried. Most people won't get it, but you do. Bill Edwards backed in twice. Bill Edwards should have never been the governor, not one day. Not one day. And Jay Darden worked 8 years at $235,000 a year in his retirement based off that, helping defeat Vitter and Scott Angel, and Republicans bought into it. And the next time, because of what Eddie Rispone did to Doc, he got beat. Did he just beat Doc head up, he probably would have won, but he didn't. He had to go after Ralph Abraham. So I'm just telling you, folks, I'm not wrong on any of this, but the media never got it. They still don't get it. They still don't understand how he backed in, totally backed in, 100% backed in. They still think Bill Edwards won. And he did officially win. I'm not saying it, but it was a backup job. Eddie Rispone and I've been knowing Eddie for a long time. Eddie Rispone ran the second time when he ran, only lost by 40,000 votes. If this guy Edwards was so good, why did he blow Rispone out the park? I mean, he had never, ever ran for office because they didn't want him. They went out there and bought as many votes as they could buy. But you can't tell that to Greg Hillman. You can't tell that to Taylor the Twit. You can't tell it to the Twit, Tyler Bridge. You can't tell it to these people. That goes in one ear and out the other. Bounces off their head. So here comes Landry and this should have been done 8 years ago. Joe, we should have never heard of the name of John Bel Edwards. Nobody should even know who the hell that is. But he is because Louisiana, some of the Republicans nutted up. But if lack of a better word, nutted up. That's okay. I mean, everybody has a chance. I miss on votes too, but that was a bad one, man. And the second time was even worse. He was a one-termer after the first time. We blew it again. I called him a one-termer. I was right on the money. I was 40,000 votes short. I didn't realize Rispone was going to come along and beat up Abraham like he did. We watched it 2 times in a row. So the next time we get a governor's race, the Republican Party said, we're not doing this. They picked Landry. They endorsed almost all these candidates. They had groups out of Baton Rouge that went after put these new candidates all over the state. And they won big. The big thing about it is the middle of the road Republicans all got pushed out or pushed back. Do you hear anything about Paula Pelosi Davis anymore? You hear anything at all? Bo Bogus, because he was good friends with the speaker, ended up getting a powerful position. I will never understand that to the day I die. I was wrong to put him there. He needed to pay the price, too. He would have, but when you know good friends and your friends, that's just the way it is. And Philip DeVille, by the way, I want Philip to come on the program. He won't. I'm not going to beat up Philip on anything. I want to know what his dreams and hopes are for Louisiana. But he won't come. So anyway, this is what's going on in the media. Greg Hillman goes, and with the new governor, who's been lockstep with former President Donald Trump and the House and Senate that's strengthened by supermajority in both chambers, they have the numbers and they will do it. Do what? Straighten out the state? Good, Greg. That's good for people. That's good that we straighten out the state. Hillman doesn't understand. He's a media writer. I'm telling you, stay around, Greg. We need idiots, and you beat me as the top idiot. Democrats, on the other, offer little resistance to the rising Republican red wave after losing their only ace, with former Governor Bel Edwards termed out. Their only ace. He wasn't the ace. He backed in. Then there's a shrinking number of moderate GOP voices. Here's the ones they like, what I tell you. Republican Fred Mills. Terming out against MAGA wing Republican Blake Miguez. Blake Miguez won big, gigantic win. Wiped out the Good Old Boy Network. Everywhere we look, most of the Good Old Boy Network got wiped out. Republican Alan Seabaugh is a prime example, a founding member of the extreme conservative House Freedom Caucus, who earned a promotion to the Senate last fall by beating a more moderate GOP voice and former Northwestern coach Mike McConaughey. See? They wanted somebody middle left. They got to have a leftist Republican. They like leftist Republicans. The media loves them. They love Bill Cassidy. Where does Bill Cassidy's Psycho Bill appear? MSNBC, CNN, all the time. They love him. Just like the people here in the media here. They love these leftists. I felt sorry for McConaughey because he let the leftists of leftists, Townsend and them, talk him into running. He got beat by 8 points. 8 points. Seabaugh said, I don't think anything good passed in Louisiana during the last 8 years. That a boy, Alan. Tell the truth. All we could do the past 8 years was block some of the worst bills and policies, but some got through. We're going to try to reverse every one. I don't see any reason to be shy. Thank you, Alan. But you see, when you wrote that, hot tidy Hilburn, he couldn't stand that. Landry and the legislature has already dismantled most of Edwards' signature changes to the justice system during the special session. and passed harsher, stricter prison sentences, lessening options for parole and early release, increased circumstances with 17-year-olds. Good. That's a change. Edwards' crime program and justice reform was dull. It didn't do anything, Greg. But you don't know that because you were one of the dumbest people in the state. You're the dumbest. I might be next, but you're the dumbest. You get the award. It's like giving a drunk award, the dumb award. We got to take a break. We'll be right back.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call them today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah. Spring is here, and if you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun. Oh, man, I love me some Superior Grill. Superior Grill, the best Mexican food in the state of Louisiana, bar none, baby. They are the best, and you're going to love them, too. They got great drinks and food, and the atmosphere is second to none. They know what they're doing. They know how to serve. Hey, folks, you do know they cater. They do cater. Superior Grill, located in New Orleans, Shreveport, and Baton Rouge, Lafayette right around the corner. You're going to love Superior Grill. You're going to love the atmosphere. You're going to love the taste. They can handle anything you got. Folks, they got happy hours. They really serve the people. And you're going to love Superior Grill. I love it. You're going to love it. I cannot wait to go to Superior Grill. I've been going to Superior Grill now for 29 years. Let me tell you, I know all about Superior Grill. And I want good Mexican food. I'm going to Superior Grill. I want to see you there. We're going to have a blast.
Where you at, Katie?
This hour brought to you by Matthew James Tax and Wealth Management. Online at MatthewJames.com.
Hey, y'all, welcome back. Moon Griffon Show, 844-766-6607. It is a Matthew James Tax Wealth Management Hotline. Don't forget, session has started. The goal is to run it for, 60, 80 days and then go right into a constitutional convention. But we'll see. All that breaks down a lot of time left. Anyway, going back to Hilbin, wrap up with Hilbin. So, highball Hilbin, really. So, I just tell you what he's worried about. So now let me give you a couple other things. Among the priorities that these MAGAs want to do, expanding ways parents can use public money to fund their children's private education beyond the vouchers already available for private schools by creating education savings account that can pay for tutoring, homeschooling, and other options. What's wrong with that? Greg doesn't think we need to change anything in education. What did Edwards do? You wanted Edwards. You love Bell. Wouldn't you like to get in front of one of these reporters and go, hey, what do you think Bell Edwards did for education? They'd pee in their pants, folks. If they had to answer one question, they would literally pee in their pants. That's how much they don't know and understand because they're one-sided. Here's another thing. He said lawmakers, Jeff had made this thing that we're 46 in education. We should put parents back in control, let the money follow the child. He said lawmakers have also filed scores of bills in an effort to reverse Louisiana's homeowners insurance crisis. What's wrong with that, Greg? We got a problem with it. We got a problem. You might have had the problem, Greg. Maybe you married rich. Many of those favored by new Republican Insurance Commissioner Tim Temple will reduce litigation options for homeowners and loosen regulations for insurance companies to attract more insurance companies to create competition for each fair. What's wrong with that? And, of course, America Louisiana will be in the front line of culture wars where lawmakers will debate to restrict the discussion of gender and sexuality in public classrooms. What's wrong with that? That's what people voted for. And require school employees to use the names and pronouns of students on their birth certificate. What the hell's wrong with that? I mean, look, this is what I mean, folks. This is what I'm telling you. The media is so out of whack. And Hillman's one of the worst. When he writes something, be careful. The chances of it being true are slim and none and slim left. And then the Advocate. I'll get to that in a second. Let's take a call. Let's go to Lafayette. We'll go to Ted. Ted, welcome to the show.
Hi, Moon.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Moon. I found that some of that stuff that Landry did, that there's no incentive not to do something really bad. You know, if everything is no parole like a violent offense used to be, violent offense, no parole, then you might as well do something violent because you're not going to get parole either.
So you think somebody's going to do something violent because they're not going to get parole? I don't think that's how it works, Ted.
Yeah.
The heart can only be changed by the good Lord. People want to do something violent, they're going to do something violent. They're not going to look at violence.
Okay,
they're not going to say, if I do something violent, I might not have to go to parole or go to jail. They want to do it, they're going to do it. Hell, that's just who they are.
Okay. What about drug charges?
What about them?
We don't. In Texas, you get caught with a small amount of a prescription drug or something. You don't get charged with a felony like you get charged over here. You're setting up people to get in a whole lot of trouble who otherwise wouldn't have.
Hey, we got a crime problem, Ted. So what do you think we do? We keep looking the other way on every damn thing that happens? We can't do that. We've already had that process. You realize in Oregon and Colorado now, they are now taking all these free drug laws, let people out. They went hell in a handbasket. They're now recriminalizing marijuana and drugs that they let people run crazy on. They're going back and recriminalizing it because they're looking at the problem with young people getting involved in these drugs and not being productive people. They go back and read about it. They recriminalizing the things that you're talking about.
It's not that simple, though. They're not sending people to the state prison. They're making that a misdemeanor charge. It goes in front of the judge. It's up to 6 months in jail. That's in Oregon, okay? They're not sending people for these long terms in these dangerous state prisons.
Let me ask you a question. I'm just curious. Why are you defending the drug user? I'm asking. It's a simple. Why are you defending the drug user? I'm just curious.
No. Well, I'm defending everybody who gets overcharged for something that can get locked up with these dangerous gangs and get stabbed, hurt, something like that. They shouldn't have been put in the state prison.
So what would we do? Should we just look the other way and let them go? I'm asking you. I'm just saying a trick question. What we do? What should you do with them? Let me know. Tell me what we ought to do with them.
They should be prosecuted and put in facilities or there's ways of putting people on house arrest nowadays, but all this ankle monitoring and all this stuff. There's other facilities to put them in other than these damn dangerous gang-run prisons.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. They got people on that side saying, we don't want to just build prisons and put people in them. If we build prisons, you okay with that, to put people that are not as violent as the other ones in prison? Whether it's 6 months or 3 months or 2 months, a year, whatever it is?
If they're separated from the
I'm saying, Ted, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you.
All right.
If we have prisons that will put people like that separated from what you said, you would be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would.
Okay, and I would too.
I would. Is it possible to keep them separated? Yeah.
No, I would be too, but here's what happens. They got a lot of people out there scared to death. We're going to build prisons and put people in them. You don't have to put people in them except the people that belong in them. And I'm not talking about people like you are going in for 60 years for something like that. But, man, we got to get some people off the streets and we got to stop what's going on. That's all. I will not argue with you. I don't want a criminal. I don't want somebody that broke the law with drug, paraphernalia, whatever you want to call it. I don't want them going serve with a violent criminal. But I don't have a problem with more prisons either. So Anyway,
Okay.
all right.
Now, I want to tell you something else.
Real quick, because I got to
It's
go.
about our state misdemeanor statutes. They could enforce a lot of those things by putting people on electronic monitoring and stuff like that, where they wouldn't otherwise have any punishment. You have to enforce all your laws, and they have to be enforced vigorously. But when it comes to the punishment phase, this isn't putting people with those dangerous offenders. It's not right.
Well, I'm not going to argue with that. I don't think. I always thought we split that out. So anyway, got to run. Thank you for the call.
All right.
Anyway, appreciate the call. All right. So let me return to one thing real quick because I wanted to try to wrap this up. So Tyler Bridges, the twit, the advocate, Finn, in a jam-packed regular session, Jeff Landry lawmakers went out conservative principles. What do you think they ought to enact, Tyler? Governor Landry will control the legislature. The legislature will continue to put their stamp on the government in Louisiana by enacting conservative priorities that have long eluded them when lawmakers convene Monday. Okay? Landry and the Republican legislature come into two special sessions where they steamrolled Democrats and overturned bipartisan anti-crime policy adopted while John Bel Edwards was governor. It didn't work, Tyler. It didn't work, Finn. I mean, why can't these people in the media see this crap didn't work? It was all for show, and a lot of Republicans voted for it because they didn't want to be called racist, because we know we'll lock up a lot of blacks. They didn't want to be called racist. Now Landry and Republicans will turn their attention to dramatically increasing the number of children who can attend private schools and taxpayers' dollars, ensure Louisiana remains strictly opposed to abortion and extending certain rights for LGBTQABZ. Now Landry and Republicans will attention increasing the number of children who can attend private schools with taxpayer dollars. They don't have to go to a private school. You realize, and this is something that Tyler and them won't look into, if everybody in the public school wanted to go private school, we don't have enough. We don't have nearly enough. We can't touch it. We got to have public schools. And we got good pockets of public school that people like their schools. Everybody's not leaving. This is what Tyler won't tell you. In Arizona, 3% of the people that got this education savings account have left the school they was in to go somebody. 3%. 3%. And we'll have a little more than that, but 3%. Tyler and them don't look at that. 97% of the people in Arizona are still going to the same school after education savings account. But Tyler doesn't look at that. They throw that out there. They're going to take taxpayer dollars. They're not taking local dollars either. Tyler don't put that. Finn don't put that in their articles. Why? Because they don't want you to know the truth. They want you to know their take on it. Landry also wants the legislature to call a special convention this summer to rewrite Louisiana Constitution first time in 50 years. If all goes according to plan, voters statewide will be asked to approve it in November. What's wrong with that? Then they go interview Bob Mann. Bob Mann, if you think of somebody to the left, keep going. Keep going. You're not there yet. Keep going to the left. Politically speaking, go left, go further, go a lot further. Keep going. You can run into Bob Mann. There's a pent-up demand for aggressive and bold conservative agenda. Bob Mann, an historian, a fool, folks. An LSU communication professor who opposes much of that agenda. He opposes anything close to the middle or the center. He's a leftist. Mann noted that Edwards and Democrats blocked most conservative initiatives over the past 8 years, and the Edwards Republican predecessor. It got beat because of weak Republicans and no leadership with people like Blank Page Cortez and Shake Snyder. That's why it got beat, folks. Don't let Bob Mann. Why would anybody want to quote Bob Mann or James Carville? If you want to quote ignorance, my Lord, can you find somebody else? But with new supermajorities in the State House and Senate, Democrats held by Landry, we got to take a break. Go ahead and take a break. A hardline culture warrior and blood-red conservative, Republicans see a chance to jolt Louisiana politics and government agencies to the right. We need to jolt them. It's not working, Bob. Bob Mann, James Carville in the media. Wow. Just letting you know, folks, they're nutting up, going crazy. I love it. We'll be right back. Spring is here, and if you love seafood like I do, you need Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning, and Ragin' Cajun's delicious seafood dinners like etouffee, Creole sauce, shrimp and grits, seafood bisque, gumbo and roux. All Ragin' Cajun products are made right here in Acadiana. Folks, trust me, they are good. Ask for the Ragin' Cajun and all your favorite grocery stores today. Ragin' Cajun, the original Cajun seasoning. Ask them for the Ragin' Cajun.
As Louisiana's only fiberglass manufacturer and fabricator, C-Safe Fiberglass Grading and Structural Systems has provided corrosion-resistant products to the Gulf Coast for over 45 years. Our fiberglass grading, cable trays, and structural shapes are ideal to replace corroded, rotting building products and can be custom fabricated by the best fiberglass craftsmen in the world, right here in Lafayette. Contact C-Safe or visit our website at csafe.com. That's SEA like the ocean, SAFE.com.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. It's termite season. Did you know termites are responsible for over $1 billion worth of damage in Louisiana alone? For over 60 years, J&J Exterminating has been shielding homes and businesses. 100% guaranteed against termites, pests, and mosquitoes. Louisiana-owned, customer-focused. J&J Exterminating.
Call him today, make pests go away. J&J Exterminating.
Get the shield.
Yeah.
And Eagle Pest.
Hi, y'all. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607 is the number if you'd like to be part of the program. Your opportunity to be a voice. Somebody made a good point to me. You know, they're talking about the savings account, education savings account, $7,500 following a student. It's not any local money, not any local tax. Folks, we spend $13,000, $14,000 a year per student. Per student. So there's so much money out there. We spend the most in the South. And say we paid our teachers best, but we spend the most in the South. $7,500 ain't going to hurt anybody. And everybody thinks all these people are going to run to private schools. They're not. There'll be a few. It's just opportunities for people to get out of a bad situation. The percentage is not going to be that much. If it's 10, 15%, I'll be shocked. We're going to sit here and argue, and they're going to argue like the media's trying to do and say, well, these education savings accounts ain't going to work. We're taking money out of the school system. Nobody's taking any money out. If we're going to say the public school system works, okay, it works. Then what's the problem? Nobody should leave the public school system. I'm one of the ones, unlike some of my friends, that the public school system is going to be around. We're going to spend money on it. You may as well make it to be the best it can be. Competition is a good thing. So the other thing I want to tell you, Louisiana Republicans, again, trying to eliminate jungle primary for legislative statewide races. This is James Fake News Finn. Okay? We should have had all of our elected officials, and maybe not the municipalities, but at least the Senate and the House, statewide elected officials ought to all have to run in a closed primary. So somebody brought the bill, I think it was Julie Emerson, bringing the bill back. This is the one that we got some of it in the first special session. We got Congress, Public Service Commission. By the way, is anybody going to step up and run against Greg Green? God have mercy, you can beat the heck out of that guy. He wouldn't even be close. He wouldn't even be close with the right candidate. Green would get wiped off the map. Anyway, that's another story. But Public Service Commission, Bessie, and the congressional races all got to go to Republicans and say, here's what I believe in. And they're going to say, well, here's how you voted. So State Senate balked at the removal of this, and it's half-ass Henry, Cameron Henry. They asked Henry about it, about this coming back up. He said in Interview Money, Emerson's bill to give him benefit of the doubt, but the members' opinions of closed primaries haven't changed much. They don't want to have to vote for closed primaries because Henry will have a record to run on, and he's scared to run on his record. The only people that are against closed primaries are Psycho Bill, Garrett Graves. They don't want to have to go to the Republicans and vote on their record. They don't want closed primaries. Okay, now the Congress has it in 2026. Not this year, but in 2026. But you got people in the Senate and the House. I'm telling y'all, bogus Bo Boye get drilled if he ran on his record. If he had one good Republican to run against him in a district. And he may be a little hero in his area. Can't wait for him to run in a bigger race. But Cameron Henry says members were pretty specific this special session where they wanted those bills where that sweet spot was and who was going to be included and not included. So Henry, once again, is knocking down the idea of closed primary for statewide elected officials in the Senate and the House, and it's really what we need. It's really what we need, and we need it. We need it now. We need it to happen. It was all negotiated. Kennedy was negotiated with Landry and let voters register on a no-party participating primaries. I am a no-party person. So they made it where I don't ever have to go back to the Republican Party. I can go vote. People are not an independent party, reform party. You're in a party. You can't go vote. In 2026, I get to go vote against Bill Cassidy in a Republican primary. I cannot wait to make that vote. Cannot wait to go vote against Psycho Bill. I'm going to get a chance to vote against him the way it's set up now. I'm sure there's lawsuits coming, too. Stephen Procopio, head of the Public Affairs Research, that'd be PAR, which I've never seen PAR accomplish anything yet. That's just me. Baton Rouge-based Good Government Group. And a Good Government Group, well, tell me what good they've done. Anyway, said money and new evidence has emerged since January to support moving to the closed primary system for more elections. I don't think this case was ever made while Louisiana should close primaries. I understand how it would be good for political party organizations, but what is the benefit for the citizens? To move off of less choices for more confusion and more cost. That's Steve Procopio mumbling the words of the people that don't want it. I'm sure he sat down with Garrett Graves and told him that. By the way, in big news I didn't even mention today, if you live in Shreveport, Line Avenue, Superior Grill reopened. You know, they had a fire. They reopened Sunday. And I talked to Barry and Phil, and they both told me to tell y'all, come on, they ready to roll. Superior Grill on Line Avenue had went out for about 2 weeks because of a fire, 2.5 weeks. But they are back open, wide open. People having fun again at Superior Grill on Line Avenue, best Mexican food in the state, with locations in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Shreveport, soon, very soon, to be in Lafayette. I can't give you a date yet. I can tell y'all we're closing in on it, and I can't wait. Anyway, the jungle primary is not for fake Republicans. The jungle primary is not for liberal Republicans. The closed primaries are not for fake Republicans. The closed primary is not for middle-of-the-road Republicans. The closed primaries are for Republican and Democrats to represent their party. And we got a lot of Republicans still that don't want to represent what the party stands for. They want to represent what they stand for. And that's the problem. But we ought to have closed primaries and all this. But we don't. And we don't for a reason. There's too many fake Republicans that want to run as... You think Paula Pelosi Davis can run for something outside her little district with her record? You think Zero Zizarang. You don't hear none of these people. These were all part of the Shake Schneider group and the fraud squad. You don't hear nothing from them, do you? All the ones that went back in, which wasn't a lot of them, they're all hiding them. You don't even hear from them anymore. And you shouldn't. They destroyed us the last 4 years. And it's kind of great not to hear their mouths and hear their voices. So I just thought I'd bring them up. Because they're not on the front row making the calls and doing ignorant stuff anymore. They're in the back row. They belong in the back row. They still get to vote. They still got to vote. I get it. But they on the back row where they belong, and they would have been 4 years ago until they cut a deal with the leftist Democrats. All right, folks, that's going to break it up. Don't forget Superior Grill on Line Avenue, wide open, ready to serve you. For the rest of you, stick around, moongraphone.com, listen live. You're listening to the Moon Griffon Show. See you tomorrow.
For the absolute best in local Cajun food, check out Prejean's in their 2 locations in Carencro and Broussard today.
News Talk 96.5 KPEL, Brobridge, Lafayette, a Town Square media station broadcasting from the Matthew James Financial Studio.
A contentious hearing on classified documents. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. Special counsel Robert Hur is on the Capitol Hill Grill. He's the one who declined to recommend charges over President Biden's handling of classified documents, but raised questions about the president's age and memory in his report.
I did not sanitize my explanation, nor did I disparage the president unfairly. I explained to the Attorney General my decision and the reasons for it. That's what I was required to do.
Her telling House committees he found evidence the president willfully retained classified documents when he was a private citizen, but not proof beyond a reasonable doubt. Kentucky Republican Congressman James Comer chairs the Oversight Committee.
President Biden, the White House, and his personal attorneys have not been honest with the American people about his willful retention of classified material and continue to hide information from Congress.
But the committee's top Democrat, Maryland Congressman Jamie Raskin, calls the hearing a ludicrous and embarrassing spectacle that gives the world's tyrants a win.
They have one more reason to celebrate Donald Trump and his cult followers who've completely lost their way. They're looking for high crimes and misdemeanors. Now they appoint themselves amateur memory specialists, and that's what they pounce on the president of the United States about.
A White House spokesperson is posting rebuttals to what Republicans are saying during the hearing, accusing them of lying about what's in the Hur report. Top intelligence officials spending a second day on Capitol Hill for an annual briefing on worldwide threats. The CIA director just telling House lawmakers more aid for Ukraine would not only help their fight against Russia, but would discourage Chinese aggression. Meantime, the director of National Intelligence says she can't rule out that China would try to use TikTok to influence U.S. elections. President Biden holding a White House meeting later today with the president and prime minister of Poland. First, though, he has a campaign meeting at this hour with Teamsters members. America is listening to Fox News.
You know, our friends at Henry Repeating Arms, they manufacture a line of very high quality rifles, shotguns, and revolvers that you can be very proud to own. Now, they're made in America with parts and materials also from America. Now, they use old world craftsmanship combined with cutting edge technology to deliver reliable and accuracy that you can trust in any situation. Now, they're easy to use and maintain. It makes them an excellent choice for both a novice and experienced shooter. Henry has over 200 models, so you can find the firearm that's right for you. There's also new releases all throughout the year. And every purchase is backed by their lifetime warranty and the company's owner. Anthony Imperato also gives his personal guarantee for 100% satisfaction. Now, make sure you go to their website, henryusa.com. Order their free catalog. They'll send you free decals and a list of dealers where you are. That's henryusa.com. Free catalog, free decals, and a list of dealers where you are. You're going to love this company and these firearms like I do.
Haiti's leader says he'll resign once a transitional presidential council is created as a state of emergency continues amid a power struggle between the government and violent gangs.
Haiti's Ariel Henry is now leaving the office of prime minister, allowing for a transitional committee to take charge of the failing government there. His departure comes as regional leaders meet to discuss Haiti's descent into rule by gang lords.
Violence, unrest. This has created an untenable situation.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken speaking in Jamaica.
And we all know that urgent action is needed on both the political and security tracks. to help move things in a better direction.
Henry is now in Puerto Rico. He was traveling abroad when told he would not be allowed to return to his country. Eben Brown, Fox News.
Ahead of that emergency meeting of Caribbean leaders, Blinken announced an additional $100 million to finance deployment of an international force to Haiti and another $33 million in humanitarian aid. The deadly gang uprising has left thousands homeless as neighborhoods are raided. 2 hours from now, an attorney for Ghislaine Maxwell is due in a federal appeals court, expected to ask for her sex trafficking conviction and sentence to be thrown out.
Maxwell, who was serving 20 years for helping the disgraced late financier Jeffrey Epstein sexually abuse teen girls, was found guilty in December 2022 on 5 charges for having recruited and groomed the girls between 1984 and 2004. Epstein took his own life in a Manhattan jail in 2019, a little over a month after being arrested and charged with sex trafficking. In the appeal, Maxwell's lawyers say prosecutors scapegoated her because Epstein was dead and that the government waited too long to bring charges.
Fox's Tani J. Powers. Wall Street's rallying after the latest read on still sticky inflation. The Dow right now up 176 points. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.